So in the past 24 hours, I've been high and I've been low. I've been on the art trail this weekend and it's been emotional. I've been working to make my work and finish up and and then be with the work, right? And talk about the work, which I love talking about my process, my practice. I have a lot of energy and passion for what I do, and a love, right? A genuine love. And this is all about staying true to your expressions, right? How do you stay true when it's hard? And how do you show up and face yourself in the moment and keep going? In life and art, it's gonna be hard, isn't it? I mean, have you had it easy out there? So I can totally understand what that means, when you show up to the moment and want to live into your fullest expression, and maybe it's a little strange, or you're not sure, or you're not seeing it mirrored out there enough, so you kind of discredit, or you don't think you could talk about it, or you don't think you have the words. But I'm here to teach you that you have everything you need inside of you. I'm about to open up a pre-sale to my 2025 program that starts in January, which is coming out in October. If you want to get on the email list, just put your name down there. It's a very specific program from a very specific point of view, which is coming from me. That I just wanted to say that, but I will be announcing it a lot more as I open it up and tell you about what is the opportunity in that. But right now, I just want to talk a little bit about how do we stay true to the moment and the expression, and how do we show up fully. For a long time I was afraid to be forward facing, and then I had a real challenge to be with the artwork, and it still can be a challenge, because rejection does happen, and that's part of the process. So a lot of what I teach is not just about how do you find more freedom in your art, but in your life, and how do you anchor your awareness, your energy, your intuition, and integrate all of that into the beingness of you. So it's a twofold thing, right? It's your creative work, it's your artwork, it's whatever you're doing in that creative expression, but it's also in the energy and the emotionality of your beingness, because when it's challenging, that's when we want to quit. Ever been there? But when it's so we want to brace ourselves for that storm and be able to weather it, right? And we want to keep creating when it's hard. And maybe we're crying like I just was painting this painting, because it can be emotional, and it very might be emotional if you're doing the expressive, intuitive, raw work. You want to touch down into those places and spaces that are calling you to bring out that expression. So a lot of the times I'm turning towards the paper or the canvas and the surface and using emotionality, the emotions of the moment, of the experience. This is large work on paper, and in the last 24 hours it has been emotional in many different kinds of ways. It's a mixed bag, right? It's not any one thing, it's kind of everything in there. So there's highs and lows, like I was saying earlier, and I want to investigate that, And it shows up in color, line, shape, and form. But, it doesn't mean that it's always what it seems, in the sense of color. Maybe color appears happy, but doesn't mean that you enter the moment and the mark in that state all the time. At least this is from me speaking. I want to fly into the freedom of the expression in the movement and in the energy of the awareness. So it's highly intuitive, but at the same time I am thinking technically. So you have all of that going on, and that's what makes it challenging, right? There's a lot to consider. you're want to like let go of all of that into the expression, and sometimes the fear can rise just because, there's like a lot of judgment that can happen in the process of creativity and art making, and even just living into our fullest expressions. And the biggest thing that I like to share and teach is how we can face ourselves in the artwork, and how we can allow the artwork to enter into our beingness, and it starts to like breathe new life into the world, into us. And that's transformative. That's what it is. It's soulful, it is colorful in many different kinds of ways. And of course, this is just my perception and my experience from living and breathing and making art and thinking deeply and philosophically and having my metaphysical and spiritual and energetic and shamanic practice, right? So it's like a big combination of stuff. It's not just any one thing, it's everything and nothing and everything in between, and that's the strange thing, that we sometimes find ourselves in these emotional moments, heightened states of awareness, and just really letting go and diving into the marks. And color is a great tool because I find it healing as I release the emotion into the work, right? Like the color kind of helps wash over me and transform, and I see like even the way I share soulfully and speak into the like expressive nature of being and creation, that like that's a colorful in itself too, and as an energy, and that's what I bring to the table through the artworks and through like giving voice to it in my poetic and soulful way. And the thing I'm interested in teaching and sharing with you is how you can enter your own moment and find your own voice within not just the like expressions, but how you can come out of hiding and own who you are fully in your creative power and beingness as like creator being. And that's how I see it. Because it's all connected, and it's important to realize that when we separate things out and put too many things in categories and give them all these labels, and it's tiring, isn't it? Don't you just want to rip all that stuff off and see what's under there? I know it's scary, but that's why I'm here. I'm kind of like your guide through that dark tunnel of many awarenesses. And it is about like turning to face the self in the end, because when you're in the studio or when you're in that tiny room and you're all alone with yourself, you can't like run from that, so sometimes the fear enters when you are faced with yourself. So it's kind of always turning around again and again and again. It's a never-ending process as long as we're still living, and even probably beyond life itself too, like the eternal flame that burns, right? So that's the creative fire that we're all longing to return to. At least that's my perception and what I have to share, and that's what's coming more and more.